About 6 months have passed since Hurricane Helene tore through parts of the Southeast U.S. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kim Chapman with you.
And I'm Josh Rowe. The storm flooding and landslides claimed nearly 250 lives, with more than 100 of those people in North Carolina alone. The total path of destruction left across 7 states, including parts of Georgia and Tennessee.
The floodwaters hit after Helene dumped up to 30 inches of rain in some parts of that region. The result, destruction of roads, homes, businesses, and other infrastructure. However, tonight we're hearing stories of comeback and communities rallying.
The News Channel 9's Sarah Howard joins us now to tell us more about that. Sarah.
Kim, Josh, 6 months have passed since Hurricane Helene devastated the Southeast, claiming 249 lives across Georgia, North Carolina, and beyond. Survivors continue to rebuild their homes, communities, and lives. But for one woman, the storm brought not just property damage, but uncertainty and fear, especially concerning her daughter. For Kim Brumette, when the storm hit her Augusta, Georgia home, her thoughts weren't on possessions or property. They were with her daughter.
We really wanted to get to my daughter.
Leaving behind everything, Brumette drove through early morning, unsure of what she'd return to.
And when we walked outside, it just looked like a war zone.
After hours of uncertainty, Brumette reunited with her daughter and grandchildren at a church miles away. Meanwhile, volunteers like Atlanta pilot Todd Peavy jumped right in to help.
Nobody's asking what politics you are. Nobody cares if you're a Democrat or Republican or how much money you make or don't make or where you live. It's a sense of purpose of helping one another.
In 9 days, Todd and 50 other pilots flew 78 missions, delivering over 23,000 pounds of essentials to those cut off from help.
We had people crying and hugging and kissing us and telling us we were saving their cities because they were trapped. They could not get anything in.
In Asheville, the storm's fury was evident. The city recorded a 3-day rainfall total of nearly 18 inches, leading to severe flooding in certain areas. Landslides and infrastructure damage isolated the city, leaving residents without power and water. Guajiro, a family-run Cuban restaurant, was among the hardest hit. The floodwaters submerged their indoor lounge and food truck.
Once we were able to get inside, there was probably about 2 to 3 feet of mud and silt on the floor. The floors lifted. It was 24 feet of water.
6 months later, they operate from a new food truck, and the family works to make ends meet.
A lot of the businesses like ours that lost everything still have a debt. So having a plethora of customers come through is really going to make or break us this spring.
For Brumette, recovery is more than rebuilding walls. It's about a sense of community.
There was no crosswords. It was just everybody doing what needed to be done. And then when it was all over, we just sat back and took a deep breath.
The storm first made landfall as a Category 4 hurricane in North Florida before leaving a path of destruction through 7 states. Josh.
Sarah, thank you. After the storm, 27 counties declared a state of emergency.